Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I am your host, Doug, here with your video blog for April 2nd, 2014. A lot to get to today. NBA playoff updates, New York sports report, Major League Baseball action as I'll give you my power rankings. We'll take a look at the Yankees and an injury that could be having a big impact on a contender in the National League. But first I want to get to the DeSean Jackson news. DeSean Jackson, wide receiver who was a Eagle, got released last week. He is now a Redskin. He signed yesterday with the Redskins a 3-year, $24 million contract, $8 million a year. 16 of that is guaranteed. And this is a big move for the Redskins. They get a guy from a rival in their division. I think the effect on Philly is going to be great. I think with Nick Foles, DeSean was kind of a security blanket. He caught over 70 balls for 9 touchdowns last year, and he also leads the league with most receptions of 40 or more yards at 35 since 2008. I think it's a big effect on the Phillies. He could do a lot of things. You could swing it to him. You could option it to him. He could go deep. I think Philly could struggle. Macklin's a good receiver. Avant's a good receiver. But they're going to struggle. They're going to have to go out and get a receiver. And there could be some chemistry issues too as well. The effect on the Redskins, I think the Redskins got a good player. I think they have too many small receivers with Moss and with Pierre Garçon. They went out and got Andre Roberts. So a lot of small guys, a lot of quick guys. I think it'll be good for RG3 just to have another good weapon to throw to. And people are talking about locker room issues. I don't think there'll be a lot of locker room issues. Jackson really hasn't had a lot of problems in locker rooms. This is kind of a veteran locker room with Brian Arakpo. Now they brought in Ryan Clark. Santana Moss, of course, is a veteran. RG3, I think, is an underrated leader, and he's a good leader, really. RG3 is a good leader, and I think a lot of the issues last year with this locker room were due to having Mike Shanahan there and RG3 butting heads a lot. So I think those locker room issues will be a non-factor. I think Jackson's going to have a good season, and he could have just made Washington a playoff team once again. All right, let's go to Major League Baseball action. The big news out of the majors yesterday, Clayton Kershaw will be out another 2 to 3 weeks with this inflammation in his upper back. That's a big issue for the Dodgers. We see it again. Signs a big contract, has an injury, sits out. He's a young guy. He'll probably come back from it and be fine. It's going to be exciting to see Kershaw pitch, and now we might not get to see him till May 1st. So we're just going to have to wait and see, and we'll see if the Dodgers can do okay. I think they can. They still have a solid rotation with Ryu at the top, and really, they're going to be okay. I think the Dodgers can make it through this, and we'll see what they do from there. Alright, time for my MLB Power Rankings to start off the year. Coming in at number 5, I have the Rays. I think their pitching staff is great. I think they have more bats, so they're my number 5 team. Tigers, number 4, could have one of the top rotations in baseball. Cabrera, the best hitter in baseball right now, and I like them going with Alex Gonzalez at shortstop and bringing in Ian Kinsler makes them a better team on the bases as well. Number 3 team is the Dodgers. I still like the Dodgers up there. Puig, I think, is going to have a big impact. Gonzalez, we saw have a big impact later on in the year last year. And I think this is a solid team that can make another run at a championship with Hanley Ramirez in the middle of it all. My number 2 team is the Cardinals. The Cardinals just keep on turning over players. We'll see Rosenthal in the bullpen, Michael Wacha in the rotation, Joe Kelly in the rotation. Wainwright showed he can still do what he has to do. They bring back a lot. They don't bring back a lot of guys in the field, but they went out and got some good players in Peralta. No David Freese, but Carpenter is going to play third, so it's going to be fun to see the Cardinals make another run at it. And finally, the Red Sox won the World Series last year. Bring back pretty much all their pitching except Dempster. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to be solid. I like the pickups that they made, bringing in Przinski behind the plate. I think Jackie Bradley Jr. is going to have an impact in center field as well. So that's my power rankings. We'll update those every Tuesday or every Wednesday here on the blog, so stay tuned for that every week. Now let's go inside Yankee camp. Yankees yesterday lost 6-2 to the Astros. For the Astros, Scott Feldman pitched well. He went 6 2/3, 2 hits, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts, no runs. And the line on Sabathia, 6 innings, 8 hits, 6 earned, 1 walk, 6 strikeouts. Gave up 2 home runs, which has been his problem. Once again, Sabathia struggling with fastball location. I think it also could be the adjustment he has to make having Brian McCann catch him. I think they're going to figure it out, and I think Sabathia will be good. Rough start, but still it's going to come down to fastball location with him, and if he can use that cutter that he worked on with Pettit. in the offseason. Also for the Astros, Fowler, 2 for 4, bright spot there. And one of the most underrated players, I think, in baseball, Jose Altuve, 2 for 4 with 2 big RBIs. If you have to look for a bright spot for the Yankees, the bullpen was good. Dellin Betances and Vidal Nuno combined for 2 innings of shutout ball, 1 hit, and 5 strikeouts. And Jeter in his first game back this year, 1 for 3 and a hit by pitch. So we'll keep you updated on the Yankees. We'll have a little bit more on them later on in the show as we get ready for our New York sports update. But right now I want to jump to the NBA playoff race. The NBA playoff race heating up in the East and in the West for the final spots. In the East, it's really 3 teams for 1 spot. Atlanta right now in the 8th spot. They take on the Bulls tonight. New York at home against the Nets tonight. They're 1 game back. And Cleveland is 3 back at the Magic tonight. Right now, like I've said for always, I think Atlanta's going to hold on and get in. They have that 2-game lead in the loss column. I think New York, I don't want to see New York. I'm a New York fan. I'm wearing my Knicks shirt right now. I'm a New York fan, but I do not want the Knicks to get into the playoffs. I think they need to overhaul the team. You got to keep Tim Hardaway Jr. You got to keep Melo. You got to keep Tyson. Stoudemire played pretty good, but you got to find some other guys. J.R. Smith's not getting it done anymore. Raymond Felton's not getting it done anymore. Pablo Prigione's not getting it done anymore. Bargnani, World Peace, a lot of bad pickups last year. And Mike Woodson has to go too. I think if they get into the playoffs, maybe win a series, Mike Woodson is going to be looked at as, maybe Mike Woodson can keep his job. I like Mike Woodson, but I don't think he deserves that job, so I hope they don't get into the playoffs and this season becomes an ultimate failure for this team. All right, the West standings, we have 4 teams for 3 spots, so 1 guy is getting left out here. Golden State, after a big win last night over Dallas in this playoff race, knocked Dallas out of the playoff race. Steph Curry hit a buzzer-beater jump shot in overtime. So Golden State's in the 6th spot there at San Antonio tonight. Memphis, in that 7th spot, 2 games back at Minnesota. Phoenix, 2 games back in 8th against the Cliff Show. And Dallas will take on the Cliff Show on Thursday. They're 2.5 back. Right now, still the team I think that's going to struggle to get in are the Phoenix Suns. I think they're too young, too inexperienced, and I think Dallas will make that push. Dallas is my last team getting in. It'll be Golden State, Memphis, and Dallas with Phoenix on the outside looking in. But still, great year for Jeff Hornacek and the Suns. All right, time for our New York sports update. Tonight we got Yankees and Astros in Minute Maid Park, 8:10 first pitch, Kuroda versus Cozart. Mets are at home against the Nationals. That game starts right around 7:10. We'll see Gio Gonzalez against Bartolo Colon making his first start for the Mets. And just like we talked about in the NBA action tonight, Nets at Knicks. This will be a 7 at MSG. Nets last night locked up a playoff berth with their second straight year. Right now they match up with Chicago, who they took to 7 games and beat last year, or lost to in 7 games last year in the first round of the playoffs. We'll be back on Friday, more Major League Baseball action. We'll talk Final Four. I'll give you my picks. We'll talk NASCAR at Texas, as that will be on Saturday night. We'll also have our New York sports update once again, as we'll have that from now on as we move through the Major League Baseball season. Always remember to follow me on Twitter at YankeeBaller415. That is YankeeBaller415. Comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning in to the Blog and Grill. I will be back on Friday. Have a good rest of the week.